Hey guys, today we're going to be cleaning up these two Transformer Decepticon decoys, and after we clean them up, we're going to be repackaging them, and that's coming up in just a moment. Hey guys, welcome back to the 5R Show. I'm your host Raymond, and today we're going to be washing up these vintage Decepticon decoys, and then after they're nice and clean, then we're going to be recarding them. That's right, today we're going to be packaging our Decepticon decoys on a new card with bubbles and everything. And before we get started, let's open them up and check which ones they are. Now, these cost me $3 a piece. They're not cheap, but you know, they're vintage products, so what can you do? Okay, so up first is the very cool, the very awesome number 52 from Takara, Ravage. And Ravage is just such a super cool character. Of course, it doesn't turn into a cassette. This is just a decoy, but this is number 52. I believe number 53 would have been Laserbeak. So, anyway, so we gotta wash him up just a little bit. It's not as clean as I'd wish, but we'll deal with that. So, anyway, that's Ravage there. Okay? And the next one is what I would just say is Rumble, but the truth is, this says Frenzy. And yes, this is number 47. It's a Cassettron. So this is Frenzy, but I think that is supposed to be Rumble. So we got to clean him up and make him look really nice. I mean, he's in decent shape as it is. There's nothing broken, missing, or anything. And so now after we clean these guys, then we're going to be repackaging them in custom package that yours truly made. That package took quite a while to make because I wanted it to look as realistic as possible. I think I got close, but you know. Anyway, so I'll see you guys in the washroom, and we're gonna wash these guys up in just a moment. That's it for the washing, and so now they actually look really pristine. I'm actually shocked. There was quite a bit of dirtiness on this one, very little on that one, but there was more on Ravage, but it came out really nice, and so I'm actually very happy with the way it turned out. And so here we have the two decoys. Just gotta make sure there's no water whatsoever on them. I don't want to card these with any humidity or water in there, because remember, we're going to be resealing them with a bubble on a card. And so the last thing I want them to do is show humidity. So of course, and we still have a ways to go, before we actually bubble them. But I just want to make sure they're nice and dry so that when we do card them, there'll be no issues with humidity or anything like that. All right, so before we put these on the card, actually, we need to have a bubble ready for them. And I'm going to use this cookie cutter bubble. Now, all you see are the cookie cutter, but what you don't see is actually the bubble. It is a nice square bubble. It looks good, it's nice. I'm having small doubts with Ravage that might not fit so great, but I think it'll do. And the bubble is perfect. It's not glued onto the card. It is stapled, however, that's fine. I can live with that. But the bubble is beautiful. It's ready to go. We just gotta remove the trash, which is the cookie cutters and the package itself. I only want the bubble. So that's what we're gonna use to card it. Okay, so now that we've got our figures on the bubbles, as you can see, we got Ravage here and we've got Rumble here. And so now that we have that set up, I'm going to go print out our package artwork, our Cardback, and give it a coat of clear lacquer spray and let it dry, and then we'll test it out on the card. And that's coming up in just a moment. Okay guys, and as promised, here is the artwork. This took me, I want to say, about a month. I've been working on this since last year. First I had to develop the idea with what I want to do with the decoys. But then again, I had to come up with a design that was small enough, something that looked really petite, somewhere in the vicinity of mini box and cassettes, of course. And I thought, well, if these are going to be decoys, I wanted the artwork to be small because the decoys themselves are small. And so without further ado, let's test out these bubbles. But let me straighten out this card back. So we're going to focus on the front. And so just to test it out, I mean, it looks really cool. I love it. We're going to be, of course, cutting all the edges, everything, and gluing it on Cardback. We're going to be using glue spray this time. It's not sticker sheet. This is actually Epson photo paper, but we're going to use the thicker cardstock from like those comic book backer boards, and then we're going to cut our A4 and put that thing on there and finish it up and glue those on, and then we're done, baby. And oh man, I cut it wrong, but there's black at the bottom and there's a gap at the top. Shit. So I don't know what happened there. I was going with the well, let's see if we can salvage it. But all right, so we messed up the cut. I messed up the cut, of course. As you can see, there's a chunk of black missing, and that's no good. So I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, for as little as it is, after we glue it in, as close as possible, I can just trim the corners and hopefully we can salvage it. If not, we'll have to start over, but let's try. Okay, so like I said, we're going to use glue spray, and we're going to try to line up this corner here with this comic book card back. So we have to go at this corner and glue them in together, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, now that we applied our glue, this is gonna be kind of tricky, but we're going to have to somehow hopefully line it up. Okay, so at least we lined it up with the edge. Not as perfect as possible. Okay, so it's okay, so and now we have to, as before, so it's not exactly perfectly lined up. I missed a tad bit, but it is on that corner, and the thing is that's gonna be a nuisance as well. And so now I gotta chop that, I gotta trim that corner off too. I put it on crooked, shoot. Okay, so I was able to trim the top. You can still see a little bit of white, but I just didn't want to cut too much until I cut later. And so we still have a little bit of white, and we have to add the rear. Okay, so I added the glue, and now I have to make sure I line it up with the corners. Down, just there you go. Come on, come on. Line up, line up. Oh man. Okay, so it did not line up as perfectly as I wanted it to, but there we are. And if we can just trim a little bit off the top, that might work. But yeah, okay, so okay, well, we've got it laid down. Now we got to do, I have a paper cutter, so that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, guys, so I've got a original paper cutter here made in Japan. This is a really good thing here. This cuts really good. I'm just a little bit nervous, so I'm just eyeballing it using this ruler here just to see if I can more or less line it up, and I think I've got it lined up. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to cut. And there's the cut, and you should have a little black piece. So we were able to cut that part out. Okay, let's go on with the cutting of the top section again. And I'm gonna cut just enough. And it did look okay. It's not perfect, but I can use some marker there. Now let's cut the side here. It's there, it's done. Let me check something. These are our corners. So let's punch our corners. Ah, oh my goodness. Oh my God. Whew. Ouch, that's gonna cut. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut the tops. Maybe Raymond's getting old in his old age. Oh, wow. You guys heard that? Yeah, it's unaligned. It's well, I mean, oh well. There's nothing I can do about that. It is off. Not as great as I'd want it to be. But you know what? I could get rid of some of the bottom. If I only... All right. Well, that's it right here. Okay, here we are. And now I'm going to use this permanent twin marker. It's made in Korea. But I think this is a really, really good marker. And so I'm just going to just lightly go over the edges. Now, considering the issues we've dealt with that you've seen, I think that's going to look great. Okay, so now that we've put our double-sided tape around our bubble, then we'll have to trim it and cut it out. So I just have to trim that last one, and then we'll apply the bubbles to the figures. Okay guys, now that we're finished with the tape, the double-sided tape, it is time to finish this. If I laid it down, it won't. The bubble is just too, you can see that. So let's just leave them standing that way. Looks beautiful. Okay, so now let us remove the double-sided tape and get on with it. So here's this tape. Next tape, come on. There's 1, 2. Sorry, guys, off camera. And last one. Double-sided tape seems to be the best bet. Okay, so now we're going to put the ugly corners, I would say, at the bottom. And so here goes nothing. So lined up at the bottom. You know what? I'm just gonna put it this corner. Lined up at the bottom. And with the grid. There you go. Okay. It's lined up with the grid. Move you guys for a second. Okay, so for the most part it lined up with the 1 over grid and the bottom right on the line where the name goes grid. So we were able to center it, and now it's time for the other one. Now it does move around. I knew it was going to move around, but that's fine. He can go wherever he wants. Now we're going to have to work with Frenzy. And now the final piece. That was easy. Okay, so now we're going to put the ugly corners on the inside. Okay, so here we go. So we line it up with that and that. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, let's see. And here it is, guys, our vintage Transformers Frenzy and Ravage Decoy 2-pack. They have been recorded. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did, because I loved it, and make no mistake, there will be more on the way. And I'd like to take this opportunity to once again thank Mr. Kohei Ueda from Seo Cycle in Shinakano for this high definition Sony camera, for whom this video could not have been made. A camera with a vastly superior visual quality will be very helpful to this channel and in the making of future content. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this project, this video, and once again, we will be making more. So if you like this video, please share, like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. And with that, I say thank you very much. God bless you guys, and take care. And I'll see you on the next episode of the 5 Hour Show.